Welcome back to the Floor is Lava Challenge for episode 2 with me, Mr. Sealy P. So as you've seen, cutting from the outside in using my duck boards, walkways, however you want to look at it. And then, actually because I'm off the ground anyway, I can use the log itself to come back down to cut all the branches off. So what I'm going to be doing is, hopefully, I'm going to do this into, well, 8s. They won't be quite 8s, maybe 7 and a bit and 8 and a bit. Then it's out and back, grabbing my boards, bringing them back, adjusting angles. So I'll bring that one back, always go out to the outside, the furthest one away first, change my angle out towards that tree. I'm going to buy some more of these. I haven't actually tried again to return those ones because they're leased. I'll have to do that in a little while. We'll cut a couple of these in, and then what I'll do is I'll use the winch. I'll drag them all into a central point. I mean, I don't really have to, because I've got, normally I would need to. If I was taking it, putting it into a sell point or bringing it all to load onto a trailer, normally what I do, and I suppose I'm stuck in that mentality, what I normally do is drag it all to one place, put them all into a nice neat pile, then I would load them onto a trailer to deliver wherever they're going. But because they're right here anyway, I don't really need to do that. And because I've got the mobile sell point, I can literally just pick up the sell point, wander around and round and round, and just sell everything. But I'm still going to cut these in halves, because, like I said, it doesn't quite work out 2 8s. It'll be an 8 and something a bit smaller. Apart from these really long ones, they'll be a little bit different. So what I'm trying to do now is get enough money together for the next phase to level up. I've got an idea forming in my head. Nothing is set in stone yet. This is just, yeah, I might come back out again and have a look and see what's available. Because I've got an idea of what I think might work. That doesn't mean it will, you know how these things work. HMG messaged me and he said you should do like a lives thing. You've only got 5 lives or whatever. And if you use all your lives up, then that's it, you've failed the challenge. So, it'll be the shortest Let's Play in history. Episode 3, all 5 lives have gone, failed the challenge. Thank you very much for watching. Goodbye. Anyway, so yeah, so what I'll do, so I don't technically need to do this, do I? I like using the winch. Drag them all into a pile. What I'll try and do as well is get the further ones in so I can cut them all in half. Yeah, because I am being honest with this. I am being true to this. I am using the duck boards. I am going out, and I do worry that if I cut one in half and it moves, I'm going to end up on the floor. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it works. So I've got more cutting to do, more moving to do, and then we'll get on to some selling. Hopefully, get enough money, and we'll move on to the next operation. Why is that not moving? time to sell a load of logs and see if I make enough money to do what I want to do next. Some I will have to drag in, but some I might get away with. Where I've got the pile, like I said, I keep piling them all up, and I don't need to pile them all up. Oh, careful! Don't want to put that down. Oh, don't want to lose that. It's only 500. It's still 500, isn't it? Okay, money's going up. Money's going up. Not bad. Could it be better? Do I want it to be better? Yeah. I'm definitely sticking a production chain in. Something that I know is going to make me some money. I've just got to remember where it is. I have a plan forming. We need to ramp up quicker. Not quicker, I mean, I've still got to do the logging. But as far as equipment goes, yeah, we need something to make us some money on top of the money we're making. So once I've got something loaded up with logs and that's chugging away, I can then carry on logging and sell the logs, and you know, we'll do whatever we need to. At the end of the day, it's forestry. I was thinking of some various different productions we could run. There's all the platinum expansion stuff. There are so many logging and wood related productions we could run. I just, you know, at the moment, hopefully we're going to level up. And we technically leveled up in the first episode, didn't we? Because we bought the Lizard XJ. But yeah, next phase, we shall see. Let's get these into a pile. There's not many left now. I'll just drag them all into the middle and I will get them sold. Let's see where we're at when that's done. I put the interactive zone markers back on momentarily because in the last episode I was... I think, did I put a thing up on the screen? I think I did. These, because they're leased. To return it, I've got to take them back to here, I think, haven't I? That's normally the case. Leased item. That's weird. It still won't let me return. I thought it was because I needed to bring them back to the store. I didn't buy them, I definitely leased them. Yeah, I'm still getting no option. I thought I was losing my mind in the last episode, and as I was editing I suddenly thought, oh no, it's because I need to take them back to the store because they're leased items. But I should be able to return them wherever they are. I shouldn't have to bring them back to the store. So the fact these are rented, I've now got these and they're going to be an ongoing payment that's going to keep coming out. I mean, they're only 25 to rent, so they're not going to be hugely expensive, but it's just frustrating, isn't it, really? Let's put those down there. So what I'm going to be trying to do, we're up to 33,764. I'm going to get a couple more of the steel ramps, and whoa, mind the edge. And I need to resolve this stump grinding situation. I've had a bit of a zany idea. Now there are, like I said, you can use front loaders and all sorts of stuff, but I need to get a longer reach because it needs to be levitating. Unless I put boards out that I can drive on, which I could do, that for the closer in ones might get a bit more frustrating. As we get further out, that is going to be harder and harder to do. I think what I'll probably end up doing is I'll leave the stumps. Generally I'll just leave them alone. If we get to a place where I want to put something down, if I want to put a production or something to use the lumber to make us more money or better money than just selling the lumber, then what I'll probably do is remove them. But the problem is with this area, because it won't let me place anything too closely, but that's quite flat. So if I clear that area out and do the stump, so what I can then do is either use boards or use something that reaches a bit further, or use concrete slabs out, remove them, then remove the concrete slabs. That gets expensive. So I've got a kind of... It's a bit bonkers. I'm going to buy a skid steer loader. I've got my my winch on here. I want something to help me either grab stuff or manually manipulate logs around rather than have to keep hooking the winch up. But once I've winched stuff back to here, I want to be able to shovel stuff together into a pile to be able to sell it. I don't have to do that. I've still been using that. I have put a couple of bits through this. The price is almost the same, a difference of about $20–30 or pounds. It doesn't seem to be making a lot of difference. So, as far as stump grinding goes, you're about to see a very peculiar contraption. You might have already seen it from the thumbnail. But you'll be able to see the component parts that make it up. So, let's go to here. Let's go back up. We want skid steer loaders. I want that. Now, there are other skid steer loaders. That's 25 grand. There is one that's 15 grand that I've used before because I want to go as cheap as possible. I'm assuming I'll have enough money for all this. I'll have to cut some more trees down. But it'll be a piece of equipment as I move forward. It'll become very useful. But the one that's 15 grand is too small. It's too light. So, actually, I don't know if I'm going to have enough money here. We'll leave it on that, I think, for the time being. Do I want to change the tyres? It's going to get expensive. Do I want to put tracks larger? So the price will start to go up, which I'm trying to avoid. Let's leave it standard for the time being. Sunshade. I mean, I should go forestry realistically. But again, that's something we can add later on. And then main colour. I think I've used most of these, haven't I? £2 grand? No thanks, I'll leave it as it is. Leave that. Take off that. Oh no, hang on. Sunshade I left on. Standard. Let's leave it like that. So, buy that for 25 grand. I am going to run out of money, I think. Now, I need skid steer loader to, you're going to see, oh, it's CSZ pack. So let's go with skid steer loaders. I want skid steer loader to implement. It will all make sense. 250. Not bad at all. Then I want, if we come out of there and we go to front loaders, I've installed that, the back lifter, but we're going to put the front, 4,400. We're getting pricey. Then that will go, what do I want then? Trying to think. Was it front loader tools to skid steer? I'm sure it was. Like I say, it's going to be quite the contraption. And there's probably I'm just racking my brains out thinking, is there an easier way of doing this? Front loader telehandler, front loader skid steer tool. Right. So basically I'm just extending from my skid steer out to a skid steer attachment. Again, 250. We'll got no options on that, have we? Buy that. And then, oh, how much is this? Under skid steer tools, nope, that's not it. There, for 2,500, we can get the stump grinder. What a palaver! Anyway, this is going to be a real mix match of stuff. So all of this, this is 1,100. Okay. Oh, I haven't realised what I've forgotten. No. Oh no. Oh, okay, it's not as expensive as I thought. No. Okay, right, so prepare yourselves. That to implement. We'll stick. When we get some more money, I'll add some more weight to this because we're going to probably need it. That to that. Then we're going to go implement that. See where this is going. probably. This is the most bizarre thing I think I've ever put together. But again, I can buy other attachments for the skid steer loader, which will make it easier for loading and moving things. Right, there's that. Which takes it from the front loader tool that it is back to skid steer. I did look for front loader stump grinders. Again, there might be one. So let's go back to that. Raise that up and stretch that out. Oh, I'm teetering. I am going to need a weight, aren't I? And then I can go to that, turn that on, and we can adjust that. So as far as stump grinding, close up, or near where we are, if I put a road in, as long as I can turn, I can get a much longer, honest, I don't know what this is insane. That's one down. What is it? What is it? It's the weirdest thing. I need more weight on the back. I definitely need to earn some more money. But I tell you what though, it's working. It's like Mad Max Forestry. Oh dear. It's making me smile. Like I say, there's probably all sorts of other ways. Once you get an excavator, which is a lot more expensive, which I can do, there's an excavator extension arm, and you can get stump grinders and things that go on those. So we'll be able to get a much, much longer reach. But for the time being, it's doing the job. I was just going to buy some more things, wasn't I? But I haven't got enough money. Definitely to bring down another tree. But I need the money. I need some money to be able to buy some more boards to be able to reach the further out trees. Where's something closer? Right, let's turn it off for a moment. Let's set that down there. It's an interesting piece of equipment, isn't it? Right, so boards. I need another tree. Where's one that's closer? Over here, maybe. Didn't go out as far here, so we might be alright. So you've seen me doing this before. Have I got the lights on this? I have. Let's turn that on. So what I'm going to do, move that out of the way because I'm likely to drop a tree on it. A little bit of money I had made, I have spent on, oh, careful, have spent on adding the extra weight, or some extra weight on the back of there. I am not on the ground yet, but what I have done, I don't know if I can get to this actually. There we go. That'll work. So there's that. Come back a bit, and then turn that off. Go back to that, and switch that around. So, yeah, what I have done is gone round and I've done all the stumps within reach. Now, the first part of this episode was done straight after the first episode, so I had no responses or anything at that point. I've been on and I've been looking at the responses. Wow, did this polarize people. Some people love it, some people hate it, some people are baffled by it. I didn't realise how pedantic people could be and how literal people could be. It's been quite surprising. There have been some valid points have been made, and don't get me wrong. You know, I do say if you want to leave a comment, feel free. You know, a lot of people have said that, like I did with this here, as long as you expand your decorative for gravel, a lot of people have said I should do the section around the outside of here, and then once I get to a point where you then can carry on placing stuff, because it's going to be a bit of a pain having a gap all the way around before you can put any sort of texturing or graveling down or that kind of thing. I have bought some more boards, as you can see. We're all the way out to here. I had some comments left about this. We're back to that thing again of me using things that I've used before. So what? You know, I had one comment was left saying I've got that and it wasn't really much of a surprise, and I'm going to use this all the time now like I do every time. Well, at the end of the day, what can I do with this other than use the winch? If I'm doing a logging map and I needed something cheap with a winch, when you say I'll use this for everything now, what? It's not an excavator, it's not a tree harvester, I've got one winch on the back, I've got some lights, I'm not running any products that are going to require being picked up. I didn't go for the auto load option on it, so I was a little bit baffled by that. Now, that being said, the reason I was trying to find something as cheap as possible, and I've been scouring around looking for cheap lorries, for cheap 4x4s, for cheap like the John Deere Gators. I've looked at the cheapest pickups I could find, anything that I could put a winch on. And the reason I went for this, because my rule on here that I've set myself is I'm not leasing things, I'm buying them. If I buy something then return it, I lose half the value. Or, you know, usually, it depends how long you have it for. So I would rather lose half of something that cost me 3,500, 3,700 than get a pickup or something for 30 grand and lose half of 30 grand. So I scoured around, I found 2 or 3 tractors that are fairly cheap, but then it suddenly hit me. I have already got prepared for when I level up again to get a tractor or whatever I was going to do. This was an interim piece of equipment, that I did sort of say that. I need something with a winch. But what dawned on me was the Tajfuns and the different, like the 3-point link mounted winch attachments. When I got this, the first attachment on here was skid steer to 3-point link. So what I can do is get rid of that completely. I'll lose half the value of it, and then off the front of this put a Tajfun. So I can use this as a mini tractor to get started. People didn't seem bothered about me using this, but were quite annoyed about me using that. I don't know, like I say, it makes no difference. I'm not going anywhere with it. So anyway, in the interest of keeping people happy, in all honesty, yeah, it kind of makes sense. Do I need it? What am I going to sell it for? What did I pay for this? I suppose I did get a few attachments and bits and bobs, didn't I? Okay, right, we've sold that. What we're going to do is go to here, and we're going to go to tools and forestry equipment, and I'm going to grab, I'm going to go for the cheapest option straight off the bat. I was looking for a really cheap lorry. I thought I'll get the 5th wheel winch, because that'll work, which we could do moving further up, you know, it doesn't matter. That won't do massive amounts of stuff, but it'll work. Which are these double winch? That's a double. That's a single. This one's £5 That's still a bit pricey, but anyway, yeah, it's more than that. Costs more than the Lizard XJ did, but I'm going to go for old. That'll bring the price down. Apparently not. Have I got 40? Yeah, I should have, shouldn't I? Let's buy it. Now what I'm going to do is let's get rid of some of the logs that I've got around. I could probably, will I be able to get rid of that one there? Got rid of the furthest one. Need to bring some others in. Let's put that down here. I've got to be careful. You notice the log lengths seem a little bit better, and that's because this one, although I cut this to 7, the problem with these were, if I cut it to 8 metres, it wouldn't let me lift it. So that one is sitting at 7 metres at the moment. So what I've been doing is lining that up and then just allowing a little bit extra. So I've been cutting them as close to 8 metre lengths as I could. That was kind of the best I could manage. And now I've got rid of my cutting. That's what I was going to say. I've got to be careful that I don't get rid of my my measuring stick, and I just did. There we go. Back up over 10 grand. So what we'll do now, let's give that a go. I'm going to extend my gravel out a little bit further, and then we should be out onto an outer reach. And what I can do from there, I can use the long reach of my stump grinder to get rid of the stumps out there, because what I'm going to do... can I do it now? It depends how much I spend on... oh, blimey, on what I'm doing. The gravelling. Depends what I spend on doing the gravelling. But on this little bit here, I'm going to put a sawmill. Now, I had some options here. There's a few things I want to clear up on this. People seem baffled and annoyed, and I don't know why. It's just supposed to be a bit of fun. It's just supposed to be something different. Just utilising the game in a different way. It's still pioneering. I'm still starting from scratch. I'm still doing forestry. Just that one thing. I had people saying if the floor was actually lava, then surely all the trees would be gone and your boards would disappear into it. Okay, yeah. But this is based on the game. The floor is lava. I don't know if people remember it. It was a while back. My kids used to do it all the time. We'd be out and about shopping and we'd be doing stuff, and you'd get them shouting out, "The floor's lava!" And everyone would leap up. You know, it didn't matter where you were. If they were with their cousins, and so there was 5 of mine, 4 of theirs, so 9 kids, and someone would suddenly shout, "The floor is lava!" You'd have people leaping up onto people's walls. What is happening? It was insane. If we go for a walk in the woods, you know, it was hilarious. Depending on where you were. That's the premise behind this. Not that the floor is actually lava. And what's scary is I can't believe I'm actually explaining that. You know, I know a few people put it in the comments as a tongue-in-cheek comment. I know they did. Some people just really hate the whole idea, and that's fine. I'm not saying you got to watch it. I'm not saying you got to do it. Some people said challenge accepted. A lot of people messaged to say about the penalty if I touch the ground should be a couple of £100. Which is fine, a couple of £100. It was also suggested, I think I'm going to do this, about setting the speed faster. And I can only cut down stuff and work at night if I've got floodlights or lighting. Which actually that makes sense, because I don't have to pay to have lights that face out and illuminate what I'm doing. So if I want to work at night, I've got to have floodlights. If I haven't got floodlights, I can't work at night. I've got to wait till the following morning, which is fine. Which is another reason why I wanted to put in a production. So that's what I was going on to say. What I need to do is get this attached, and then we'll do some gravelling. And that's where I'm probably going to end this one. Do the gravelling, get that log in. I want to make sure this works. Yes, it's a crazy bonkers bit of equipment. Yes, it's nuts. Yes, it's not farming, but it really doesn't matter. That, then go to, it's not allowed, why not, what have I got to do to this? Do that. Now what? Now okay. There we go, right. Just have to separate it. So what I should be able to do now Whoa, no. Oh, you. Oh, why would it... I can't pick that up, can I? Right, let's do that. Okay. Oh, I haven't got... There's no PTO, is there? That will annoy people. But at the end of the day, it'll work. That's all that matters. So now I've got my winch, and that was the point of that previous vehicle, was I didn't have any money. I just needed something cheap and something I could put a winch on. I looked at a whole load of different options, and that was my cheapest one. So, out on the boards. Can I reach there? No, too far. There we go. Got to be careful now. Actually, what I'm going to do, I think, is go that way. Otherwise, I'm going to knock my boards, I think. I'll just get it to spin round. There we go. Then I'll bring the boards in. So what I'm doing now is... Nope, not that. So I'm better off doing it on the ground. And that was kind of the point I was trying to make in the first episode, was doing this and doing what I'm doing, it makes you really have to think about the equipment you're going to buy. You've got to select things very carefully. You've got to decide what you're going to place very carefully, what you're going to spend very carefully. I've been scouring through the mod hub looking for different things that, you know me, I love a bargain. And when somebody said, oh, you're just going to use the same things you used before, at the end of the day, if it's cheap and it works, if it was a bargain once and it's still a bargain, yeah, I'm probably going to keep using it. Because when you're starting out on start from scratch and you've got no money, you need the cheapest stuff you can find. That's kind of how it works. So what I'm going to do now is bring these back in. As you can see, like I said, I've got a load more. And what I have been enjoying, and I know people won't believe I'm doing it, and you have to get, at the end of the day, you can believe whatever you want. It's entirely up to you. I'm not forcing anyone to think or believe or anything at all. I have genuinely been using these boards because I've been finding that's part of it. Yes, it's making it's making a job that's normally people find boring, tedious. They don't like doing logging anyway. It takes 10 times longer. Yeah, it does. But it wouldn't be a challenge if there was no challenge, you know. That's another point to it. But I understand, you know. I've taken something that polarises people anyway, because not everyone likes doing logging, and then I've made it even more niche, which people just oh, I don't know. Anywho, should have turned the engine off on that really. Now I'll do some more stump grinding, and from where I am I'll be able to take my boards out and cut the next ring of trees down, bring those in. I have got enough money to place all in. Oh, that's what I was saying. Anyway, yeah. So I've been scouring around looking for stuff. Now, my initial plan was, it was one of the pellet productions I used, part of the packing facility by Cookie Cat. And I used it on Griffin. I think I used it on Griffin. And you make pellets. And the pellets are quite prolific, and depending on the right sell point, the right time of year, you can make good money. I was looking at the sawmill by Zodelzot, because that produces pallets of planks at a colossal rate, but that's 125 grand for that. So I thought, okay, that's a bit pricey, can't afford that at the moment. So I've been looking at sawmills and stuff. But what dawned on me, to do the pellet production, I needed wood chips, which meant before I'd put that in, I would need a wood chipper. Trying to find a cheap wood chipper. Again, if you can lease these things, it's not too bad. You can earn that money back in no time. But for a wood chipper, and if we go in and look at our forestry, there's a few odds and ends. Where's the little, I say the little, That's the small Heisermat. That's 190 grand for the base model. There are a few different ones. There's the stationary wood chipper, which I've used before, which I was thinking, you know what, I'm just going to put that in. I'll use that. Which at some point I probably will. But what I've decided to do is put in a sawmill carpentry by the Lort. I think it's farm. Is it a farm sawmill? I think it's called. Anyway, let's turn things off on that. Well, it depends how expensive this gets. If we go to our landscaping, go to our painting, we'll do that and take that out. So there we go. So that's letting us already. Come in a bit. There we go. Oh, that's interesting. Let me do that bit, but not the other one. It's using a bit of my money, but not too much. Just extending this out 1 square all the way around. And that should... Let's go over that bit. Like I say, that'll give me a nice bit of reach out to the next... we go right up to there. Yeah, the next set of stumps and the next set of trees. Oh, that's not going to like that, is it? Do that way, that way. There we go. If we go up to there. Ah. There we go. Oh, I didn't really want to go that far. Doesn't like that, does it? That little bit there might have to just stay. I can't do a lot with that. Same with that one, I think. Right. There we go. So we've extended ourselves out. We've used a bit of money, yeah. But that bit, well, I don't have to put something down on that. We'll just have to accept the fact if I walk on that, that's not the end of the world, you know. I could probably put a grass texture or something on that to cover it. Anyway, we're good for the next phase out. So what I want to do is get rid of these stumps. I'm going to need to cut down a couple more trees because before I end the episode, I want to put in my first... I suppose that's the next level up though, isn't it? No, we'll do it. We'll get it in. Why not? What time's it? 11:41. Yeah, we can get to those. I can stump grind those. I can do the next ring of trees. We'll get those down. A little bit more money. I just need just over 10 grand because what I want to put in is 10,000. So what I'll do then is let's just make sure this doesn't keep falling over. So that's as far out as the gravel's going to go now. Anything after this has got to be a causeway or it's got to be something, you know. It can't just be, I just can't keep doing gravel all the way out. From here, it's got to be causeways, concrete slabs, steel plating, something like that. That's the plan. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do some more stump grinding, as you've seen already. Actually, a couple of those that are quite close I could probably do without putting all the attachment on the front, but I might as well stick the whole rig on. There we go. Back to there, raise that up a little bit, go back to that. I'm making sure that I keep all of this off the ground so it doesn't touch the ground, just the actual cutting head does. So another question that was asked was what's my goal? I thought I'd mentioned it in the first episode. Is to head to get to that plot of land. So if I want to do farming, if I decide I don't want this to just be forestry, I want to do some farming and do it as a proper pioneering one, and I want to get to that plot of land. But to get to that plot of land and do all the forestry to get to that plot of land, I need to improve and expand my forestry equipment to make the forestry portion of doing this a lot easier. I need to get into a routine and a system that whatever piece of equipment or whatever I'm going to use, whether I use bridges for causeways or concrete slabs or whatever, I can get into a rhythm and a routine that as I move out into each new section, I can just jump straight into that flow and it will go. That does not want to stay there. Come on. There we go. Yeah, so that's my goal, is to aim for that plot of land, and by the time I get there, if I want to do forestry I can. Hopefully I'll have a few productions and stuff in by then. I'm going to put some various different wood productions in as I go, so my wood is not just being sold, it can be put into making us more money, hopefully. I'll probably put all those productions on just selling directly, so I'll lose a little bit on that. I'll tell you what, it's interesting, it's probably because of the way I've got this set up. I've had more trouble with stumps going on here than I have on any other map. It's weird, I have to come from a different angle and then it'll work. Yeah, it doesn't work. So I'm going to get rid of a few more of these, get a couple more trees down, and we'll get in our first production. Then I can get lumber into that. And like I say, I've just got to establish, I don't know how I'm going to be doing my... From here it kind of made sense because I'm working from a set platform already. But as I move forward, in theory it was a great idea, but now I'm thinking, how do I actually go about doing what I'm saying I'm going to do, you know? It's always a problem when you cut a tree and it doesn't want to fall down. And I was worried it was going to fall sideways and it'd be a pain to get to. So, and typically as soon as I click the winch on, over it went. But hey, it's done now. So, stumps have been cleared up all the way around. I've cut a few trees in, the easier ones to get to. I'm going to have to do some more. I was thinking actually, the tent's probably in the way now. I might switch that out and yeah, I'll move that over. I've got some various different mods available, so if we demolish that, so demolish, we'll take the tent down, pack it away for £1,000, and then we will get, what have we got in here? Oh, I'll actually make a bit of money on that. £1,000 sold. That's a lot of money for a tent, isn't it? It's £2,000 brand new. Oh, I'm going to need a flat area, aren't I? Where's the best place I can put this? It's going to be out of the way. Whoa! Oh, that's the shop area, that's why. Restricted zone! Right, so I don't want to pay over the odds for a 50 quid tent. I want to get as close to 50 as I can get. That'll do. You can absolutely put money on the fact that as soon as I cut down some of those tall trees, they're going to drop straight on it. It's only 50 quid, I'll get another one. I'm a baller now, look. I've got over 10 grand. Do what I like. I'll just move that out of the way. Got a nice big open area. We can put some trees and stuff on. Trees? What am I talking about? Sheds and things, but we'll go around. Let's get rid of all the trees I've cut down. And then we'll have enough money for the next phase. I was going to do this in the next... Yeah, I was going to do this in the next episode. But we've got the money. So I thought, you know what? We'll do it now. I'm not quite sure. I've got to decide. Placement, I want it down here where it's flat. Is that all of them? Have I missed anything? I've just realised what I've done. Oh no, that's alright. No, I did it earlier, didn't I? So my measuring stick. So, into productions. Factories, we want the farm sawmill. By the law. It's only 10 grand. The ones I was looking at, there's the Zodelzock sawmill, that's 125 grand. Second in line was the American Sawmills Pack by Chris S. Riley, but that was 76. This is 10 grand. It may not run as fast as the other ones, and the American Sawmill with Platinum Expansion will do all the Platinum stuff. Actually, do I want it facing this way? If I face it this way, it's great for thumbnails, it's in the light and that kind of thing, but if I'm going to log away from me, sort of looking up where we are now, it means I've got to bring all the trees around it to get to the sell point. But that being said, if I cut anything the other way, round behind where I am now, to the sort of bottom of the page, I've still got to bring stuff around it anyway, haven't I? I don't think it really matters. But if I'm going to do most of my logging out that way, the direction it's facing, it makes sense to have the point that I drop it all off in. It's going to be just a little bit over 10 grand, which means it's going to do a tiny bit of landscape. It's fairly flat there. Why is it not doing it now? Right, let's get it as cheap as I can there. That'll be alright, won't it? Does that look alright? Yeah, it's fine. Ow. Let's put a dip in the ground. Actually, I'm not too bothered. I'm not too worried about the dip in the ground. When I've got some more money, when I've got a load of money later on, we'll worry about it. But I suppose what I've got to consider now is, because I've placed that's a building, I own it. The earth and stuff around it I can walk on. That's not forest floor. Will I gravel it at some point? Probably. That path I was just looking at is the same sort of texture. But we should be alright. That's my offload point. Production 2,400 for wood planks, 216 cycles per month, that is. Recipes of 3 to 4 and 4 to 5 if I want to do furniture. Actually, do I want to set it on selling? I'm just thinking I might change that, because if I've got the sell point just there, I've got the skid steer loader. If I get a skid steer loader, if I just get a cheap set of forks, something from the CSZ pack, because most of the stuff in there is pretty cheap, like 250 or something to buy, I'd rather move the pallets of whatever I'm producing to the sell point and get maximum money than losing 20% by direct selling. I suddenly had to panic then and thought, did I lease those? I didn't, did I? It's just me saying about the CSZ pack and how cheap they were, but no, I bought them. They're all owned by me. So, I suppose finally, before we finish off, a few comments were left about this. The bow saw. When I said about upgrading from the bow saw to a chainsaw, a lot of people said, but have you noticed that the bow saw seems to cut through trees quicker than the chainsaws do? And to be fair, it is pretty efficient. It is pretty good. But mentally, it's that thing of, if I'm using a bow saw that's done by hand, the next obvious evolution would be to get a chainsaw, which is, you know, you pull the trigger and boom, off it goes. But I suppose in game it makes no difference, because you're not actually manually sawing, you know. You're just pressing a button. So would I just stick with the bow saw, which is more efficient? Possibly. I don't know. Maybe. So I guess what I'm going to do now, go around the outsides, start cutting the next ring of trees round. I'm not necessarily going to do the stumps. I think I said this previously. I'm only going to do the stumps, I think, where I'm going to be moving to. If I need to place something, or I need to put down a causeway or a bridge or something, whatever I'm going to use on the ground, then I'll probably remove stumps. I only needed to remove them around here, so that when I put down the gravel and I put this down, they weren't in the way. Does it makes sense that way around, doesn't it? I don't know. Yeah, it's all it's all trial and error. It's not something I've done before. I mean, I've done forestry before, of course I have. My target, I'm aiming for that bit of land. I'm just looking to see if there's any more There aren't many tall trees. They're all going to be the same size, aren't they? Yeah, there it is. It's a fair old trek, isn't it? And if I just went as the crow flies from A to B, just cutting enough that I could put a causeway in. It was also suggested that if I just ploughed ground, I could then walk on it. But anyway, we'll see. That's where we're at. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please give us a like. If you don't subscribe yet, please do. If you want to leave a comment, feel free. And if you want to share this video, then please be my guest. Whatever you should choose to do. Thanks for watching.